Okay, so then 1992, you get your role on Hangin' With Mr. Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
That was dope, man. I mean, for me, the ride, it was nonstop because Wild and Crazy Kids ran for 3 years. And then right when it ended, I auditioned for Hangin' With Mr. Cooper and booked that and started up like in the same calendar year. You know what I mean? So it was 3 years of that and then 5 years of Hangin' With Mr. Cooper. I remember I was in, back then, they don't do it so much now, but it started with a presentation. So they had the script, they had the cast, we shot the presentation. It got picked up as a pilot. Then we reshot the pilot. And then once that got sold, we started the first season on that. And I was what they call 7 out of 13. I wasn't in every single episode from the beginning. I was in a series regular on that show until the 4th and 5th season. But for the first 3 seasons, it was kind of off and on. And I was still in high school. So I still felt really normal. You know what I mean? Believe it or not. Wild Crazy Kids, met Arnold Schwarzenegger in all the different situations and hang with Mr. Cooper. With everything that I went through on and off through that, it's still, I'm still going to high school. You know what I mean?
And I guess right around that time, you started taking rap a little more seriously?
Sure. It's interesting because with rap music, I remember writing my first rap when I was in, I think, 4th grade, and I remember folding it up in the paper and reading it in the playground with 6th graders. I'm looking up at these guys and doing my rap and they're like, all right, little man, that type of thing. But it was always more like a hobby because I was so busy with acting. But yeah, like right around high school, especially going to a public school, not a private school, a lot of things happened culturally for me. Like, I would hang with just about anybody up until that point. But then in high school, I kind of saw factions and different, like, all right, the black guys over here, the jocks are over here. You got the white kids here, the Mexicans here, that type of thing. And a lot of the black dudes, there in the circle, we was rapping, you know what I mean? So I had like a little clique that formed that we was, which later kind of turned into other things, but I'll wait for you to ask about that.
Okay. And I guess you would actually put together some demos. And in the demos, you didn't swear at all. There's no profanity. Because I guess your mom wasn't going for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, the demos you're exactly right. And but you know what really happened was we performed a lot in the circuits out here in Hollywood. Do you remember the Budweiser Best of the Fest? Yeah. Budweiser Best of the West? Yeah.
Best of the West. Yeah.
Best of the West. So we performed in that a couple times. I think we got like 3rd or 4th. We performed. I remember we were at, it was competed, I should say, rather than performed, but we performed. And a lot of times they would tell you not to swear. So we learned how to sound like we were swearing without using cuss words. You know what I mean? Believe it, and people would hear us and be like, damn, I didn't even hear. I thought y'all was cursing. Like, can we get the radio version? I'm like, oh, there ain't no curse words in that. They were like, damn, how did y'all pull that off? And it just became a thing that we would do. So, and again, yeah, you're right. My mom was managing me. So like, yeah, don't swear around mom type of thing. My mom and my dad actually divorced and remarried when I was around 18 years old. But he started, like he moved back in type of thing. And that kind of rubbed off. So he would take us around and try to get us into business and said, why don't you guys incorporate singing? I'm like, yeah, because we rappers, we don't sing. You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, I can teach y'all how to sing. I'm like, imagine that. And he was so good. At the beginning, it was like, you hit this note, you hit this note, you hit this note. Okay, that was terrible. Do it like this, again. And after 15, 20 minutes, he had us sounding like we were a group that could harmonize. It was amazing. So we would mix that in with some of our rap type of thing. And I remember he got us an audition for John Salley.
My friend.
Yeah.
Regular guest on Vlad TV.
Really? And John, I don't know if he remembers this. I would be shocked if he
does remember, because I actually texted him this morning.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I texted him this morning.
Surprised.
Yep.
And his ear was dope because, he was like, all right, what y'all got? And we were in there, we rapping and it looked like some street, you know what I mean? And he was like, not bad, guys, not bad. But I did notice that you guys didn't swear. He called them swear runs. You had no swear runs. We were like, what does that mean? So you didn't curse at all. And we're like, oh, yeah. We smiling about it. It's like, yeah. He said, yeah. You ever think about going gospel? And that was when it was like, do. It was like, well, thanks for coming in. It was great to meet you. Loved you playing basketball. You bet, So we took that some kind of way. And I swear that kind of ended the no cursing for me as a rapper, for sure. Because I was like, damn, so if you ain't cursing, then you gospel? Now, don't get it twisted. Like I said, my mother got saved when I was born. So, I'm a born again Christian. I get it. Even in my music now, little bit. People don't like to be preached at, but they also don't mind hearing a good lesson if it's there. But sometimes you just got to do it, right? So the the beef I have with going gospel is if I was going to preach and try to preach the word of God to people, why do it only to gospel people that already hear it? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to do Christian rap for Christians. So if I was going to try to save some people, it would probably be people that maybe haven't heard the word of God. So I need to go secular. And then, if you ask me, I'll tell you about my faith type of thing, but I wouldn't push it on people. That's kind of like my difference in my thinking as far as gospel.
Yeah, well, I hit him about, I saw a passage about this whole situation. He goes, I remember. He goes, I remember a little bit differently, but he said he knew that gospel was going to move into rap already. And when you look at these days, I've interviewed guys like Lecrae who are huge in that world. They make tons of money because,
he said it in a way, like you said, that made it, okay. It wasn't like, man, y'all are terrible, do gospel rap. No. He was just like, have you ever thought about it? But as soon as the words came out, everything sounded like wah, 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 wah. But yeah, he made some good points. He's like, I'm telling you, you can make some good money. You can do this and do that. For me, I wasn't in it for the money like that. I love music. The music is in me, still is to this day. And I was just like, I want to be on the radio. I want to be on this radio. I don't want to be on, if you tune to this or if you find it on here. You know what I'm saying? As all kids did at that time.
So did you know any other like established rappers? You'd mentioned you had met Ice Cube and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, up until what point? At that time, no, not really. No, later on. I mean, later on, like when I did Baby Boy, then that's when I met Snoop Dogg and so forth. Mm-hmm. But at that time, no.
Okay, and then right around that time, you worked on the show Thea.
Thea.
And you said that Thea was a nightmare. Thea Vidal.
It's so fun. The thing about stuff like that is you'll hear, they're terrible to work with. Good luck, have fun on that, or try to this and that, blah, 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 blah. And the wild thing was she was cool as shit to me. But I saw how she treated everybody else. And I was just like, that's happened kind of a lot in my career. Have you ever met so-and-so? They're an asshole. And I'm like, I've seen him be an asshole, but we cool. I remember she took up for me when they had me in like some suit that was super tight. She's like, why you got this boy dressed like that? He looked like a such and such. And she used such colorful language. I was just in there like, oh shit. But some people are hard to work with. I don't know how. Some people are good at auditioning. They sell themselves to be this and that. And as soon as you get to know them, you find out, that mother. And that's.
Well, the show lasted for one season.
I don't even think it lasted a season. Like they told them towards the end of the season, this is it. Like, enjoy this next check or two, but it's on its way out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then shortly after that, 1995, you get.
And that was starring Jason Weaver.
Jason Weaver. Oh, he was in it.
Jason Weaver was in Thea. I thought that's what you were getting at. That's where we met. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Jason Weaver. Shout out to the homie.
Jason Weaver was
That's what it is.